Hello, welcome to the Death by Disney podcast. My name is Adam, and I'm on a mission to watch absolutely every Disney movie that's ever been made and make a review podcast about them. Today we're talking about The Million Dollar Duck from 1971, starring Dean Jones, Sandy Duncan, and Joe Flynn. I gave it 7 out of 10, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So generally, I give you a little bit of synopsis of the film, my review, some trivia about the film if I can find it, and then I give you someone else's negative review and someone else's positive review, and then I talk about the issues that those reviews bring up. So you can decide if you want to watch the movie or not. So the synopsis of The Million Dollar Duck is Professor Dooley takes home a duck from his research laboratory as a pet for his son, but soon finds out that it lays golden eggs. Here's my review. Apparently this film was absolutely detested by critics when it came out. While it certainly isn't the best Disney live-action film that I've ever watched, it does have a sort of campy charm. Dean Jones and Sandy Duncan have a great charisma and rapport with each other in the film, and it is easy to believe that they are married. Sandy Duncan's character was criticized as being an imbecile when the film came out, but I think that that's a little bit harsh. She's basically Phoebe from Friends without believing in all the woo-woo crap. And there is a point in which her husband is almost decapitated and she mispronounces a word, but I think it's understandable in her situation and funny in the movie. My two favorite parts of the film are the scene in which the dog is apparently chasing the duck in a swimming pool, but it turns out that the duck is much more aggressive than the dog. I think the filmmakers want us to believe that the duck is in trouble, but we can clearly see that the dog actor does not like the situation and is trying to desperately get out of the pool and away from the demon duck. The other funny part is when the child is dangerously stuck on a ladder between two buildings and might plummet to his death, and he's having some kind of crisis with his father, so he says, "Go away, Daddy," and then a moment later, when he hears a crack, he says, "Come back, Daddy." So that's funny. So I think for those two parts, and watching the lovely Sandy Duncan interact with Dean Jones, the movie is definitely worth a lazy Sunday watch. So yeah, 7 out of 10. The trivia is only about Gene Siskel. So I don't know if you remember Gene Siskel. I think probably people of my generation would. He had I think like a weekly movie review show on television, and those used to be a thing, with his colleague, it was called Siskel and Ebert, and then I think Siskel died, and then it was just Ebert for a while, and then it went off the air. So this is one of the first of 3 movies that critic walked out of. The other one was the film Maniac, and in 1980, I guess, and Black Sheep, a comedy starring Chris Farley and David Spade, I guess. I don't know. I could see it's not the best movie ever, and I think when you have the ability to watch it at home on your couch and fall asleep to it, it's much better than actually having to go to the movie and sit down, even if you are being paid to watch it. I could understand not enjoying this movie if you were being paid to watch it, honestly. All right, so some other people agreed with Gene Siskel, but I couldn't find like a 1 out of 10 review on the Internet Movie Database. This is 2 out of 10. Hard watch. Dean Jones somehow ended his career appearing in St. John in Exile, a wacky stage play of Jesus' last surviving disciple breaking the fourth wall and yucking it up with a largely religious audience. Up until then, I only thought of Dean Jones as the perpetually angry young man of many a Disney movie. Seriously, his entire character is a milquetoast white man with a way too attractive wife who has been driven to seething red rage, usually because of some intelligent animal or anthropomorphic automobile. This time around, enraged Dean Jones is Albert Dooley, a scientist who is struggling with money woes. Things are so bad that his wife Katie, Sandy Duncan, packs him an entire lunch of just screwed up applesauce, but Albert the duck eats that, gets irradiated, and starts laying golden eggs. And oh yeah, Albert's son Jimmy had wanted a pet, so why not just get him a duck that will soon either die of cancer or gain superpowers? Lee Montgomery never got a few animals and nearly killed a whole bunch of folks, right? It gets to the point where the golden eggs make Albert rich, so he just cuts his son out of his busy life, just in time for Richard Nixon to decide that the duck must be captured to save America. Yeah, and I wanted to read that whole review because I think it just encapsulates Dean Jones as an actor. So if you don't know Dean Jones was one of, I don't know how big of a star he was, but he certainly was used in a lot of Disney movies, live action movies in the late 60s and early 70s. So that's basically a very good summary of his character in these movies. So he's like very average guy, very enraged by the circumstances, and usually has a hot wife like Sandy Duncan in this film. Yeah, and the anthropomorphic vehicle would be Herbie from the Love Bug series. Yeah, I think maybe the gold thing had a point, and it was illegal for private citizens in the United States to own gold for a while, from the 1930s probably until the 1970s. So that may have been why the government was interested in this gold. I don't know. I don't know if it was so serious or just some plot device. Okay, here is the positive review. 9 out of 10. A $1 million movie. I have to say that this is an underrated Disney movie along with Treasure Island, 1950. This movie features a great cast of voice actors like Dean Jones, the voice actor of Jim Douglas, the Love Bug, Mark Garrison, the Ugly Dachshund, and Steve Walker, Blackbeard's ghost, Sandy Duncan, the voice actress of Vixie, the Fox and the Hound, and Liz Bartlett, the cat from outer space. Anyway, let's move on. The movie is about a duck, of course, who is tested, and we realize that this duck can lay some golden eggs, which was weird and unexpected. I have never seen a duck putting some golden eggs, but this movie is pretty good to begin. And that is from Ariel Sire. Yeah, I don't want to criticize movie reviews because generally how they're written, usually the ones that you can find that I put on there are just voice chat, and then I don't go back and I don't correct the names of the films or the mistakes or whatever. So I'm not going to criticize that, but I would criticize the fact that they mentioned a bunch of actors and they said that they were voice actors, but then they listed movies where they're actual not voice actors, but just acting. So a voice actor is an actor that specifically provides a voice for an animated feature or an animated short or some kind of animation, which is kind of weird because all actors are voice actors. Maybe it should just be just voice actors, something like that. Perhaps. I do not know. Okay, what is the name of this movie? I have been talking about it for 10 minutes and I completely forgot what the name of the movie is. Something with the golden duck. No, the $1 Million Duck. So yeah, if you want to watch the $1 Million Duck, I would recommend it. It's not the best Disney movie, but it's certainly not the worst. It's kind of an enjoyable hour and 20 minutes. If you watch the movie, what do you think about it? Please leave a comment on the YouTube page under the YouTube videos or on the podcast. Please like and subscribe, review, all of those things that help me out and help the podcast out. So I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.